and we are advocating. We are advocating all children. So please keep that in mind, that by running the Reflections program, that we are achieving this mission. So when you talk to local leaders, president, or if those who school doesn't yet have a Reflections program, please do remind that's what we are doing. Because Reflections program is over 50 years old. So it's done and proved and done over year after year. We are bringing hundreds of millions of children, and we are helping their well-being as well. So be sure that we have to look into that part as well. So I want to talk a little bit about that. Okay. Okay. So speaking of which, here is the just this is few years old, but this is from National PTA with Arts and Education website. It's the data about the state submission, and here is the state of Texas. We are part of it, so we are making difference in the child's and their families' lives. So it's very interesting to see this chart. You can see that 25% is the intermediate, that's a grade third and fifth. And so you can kind of think about that, where to reach out, where do we need to reach out. As you can see, special artists being low in number, this been staying this way. So we really do need to reach out to the special art, special education teachers, and also advocates on campus, and how we can do that. So as a council leaders, maybe you can contact the local leaders and to think about what would be the best way to reach out to them. And maybe we can share those ideas as well. So we have listened to Sabrina's piece, but this is the testimony from different participants of the reflections each year. And we do have a communication expert like Lauren, but those children's word said it all. And I think that's why we have been in tears year after year. And Back to the Future branch, if you have not experienced the Back the Future branch, please consider participating in next year at the launch. It's just so powerful what the program itself has done to their lives, but also how they value our program. As you can read it here, this was the Mia. It's been a game changer for me. So another participant said that because of the Reflections program and how school supported her, now she has confirmed herself being an artist and being in the art major when she goes to college. So we are making a great impact starting from elementary school, and they remember how impactful this program is, and they carry on. So please do consider that part. It's a really important part, especially that those children, the ones that are growing up during the COVID, it had impacted them many different ways. So we really have to give them a place for them to express, as this testimony is saying, that we have a place, opportunity for the students to express their honest feelings. So they may not have a person or place that they can do, but they find the Reflections is as their place to do so. So I have talked about the impact of the Reflections program. So when you encourage locals, that's why I'm talking about this background. Sometimes programs is considered to be just a program, and fundraising or other bigger event to be more I don't think this is a good word, but emphasize and putting a lot of monies and energies. However, how we touch everybody's lives and making an impactful difference, it is the program. So your role is very important and valuable role. And so that I hope you do encourage your local leaders as well. All right. Also, Reflections program brings the diversity, equity, and inclusion pieces. Texas PTA, aligned with the national PTA, and I want to share with you one of the place that the national PTA talk about. Hang on. Okay, so this is the national PTA Arts and Education website. So when you go to National PTA Reflections website, this is the Reflections program website. Well, down here, there is the art education resources. And we do have a resource as well at the Texas PTA, but yeah, include a little bit different and deeper information such as this one. So as you can see, Reflections does brings a diverse artist, diverse perspective, and then also equity of the giving everybody an opportunity to participate. So it is a very important piece, important program that also include DEI on campus. So please consider. All right. Okay. Okay, so next part, oh yeah, this was, I just wanted to share this with you. National PTA is trying, encouraging everybody to participate in being the part of the diversity commitment. So this is just a sample letter they had. Okay, another thing is why great thing about promoting the Reflections program is National PTA has their School of Excellence award. So Reflections program, one of the conditions of the School of Excellence is that you have a program that runs year around, which also includes Reflections program. You are starting the Reflections program at the summertime, and then local level, it may end by December because they do have to submit it to the council level, and then you take it over, and then the state level. But then local and then council leaders will be keeping track of what's happening. And also many local leaders, also council leaders, you might encouraging doing other than Reflections program for kids to engage in the arts and education. So it can be a year-long program, and that's what the National PTA is looking for to give the School of Excellence Award. So do consider dig into this and encourage them to apply that. Well, some school might say that we don't have enough budget to run arts and education program all year round, but that's not the dead end. Here is the grant opportunity. The founder of Reflections program, who was the president of the state of Colorado, 1969, to honor her, they have a grant called Mary Lou Anderson Reflections Arts Education Enhancing Grant. So this grant just opened end of, I think it was the end of August. So please do, apply by, wait, this is the old image, but it is still open. So
Lisa, I don't think we see that screen.
Oh, you don't?
We're still seeing the
you
website.
Don't see that. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, yeah. I'll switch. I forgot about that. Sorry about that. Thank you. So here it is. This is what I was showing you. You didn't have to, I didn't have to show this old part. But anyway, this is available. All right. Okay, so let's move on. So I'm sure everybody is familiar that our fabulous Reflections website, Texas PTA, everything is here. So leaders resources, I will take you there in a little bit, but you might have already visited when you were at the local chair and even now. So after I share this calendar, I think we can kind of start talking, sharing the ideas. So this is just a sample calendar, what would looks like the year around. So currently, August, I hope you did have a chance. If you haven't had a chance, gather the local leaders and maybe talk about what it looks like this year. And I am sure you probably have took advantage of National Arts and Education Week, which was a couple of weeks ago. And then October is great again, National Arts and Humanity Month. So great way to promote the Reflections program. So be sure that you communicate through your social medias and also emails and newsletters that you might have created or established already with the local leaders. Make sure that every school has a reflections program. If not, it is not too late to start the reflections program. So do encourage through President. Many schools may not understand what the reflections program is yet, since they may not have done that before. You can encourage them how to start. So right now in almost October, you might start thinking about gathering the judges for judging at the council level. You don't have to judge until the most busy time of the year, which would be December and early January. And our state due is Saturday. Is it Saturday, January 16th this year? Not sure about the day of the week. Is that
Not
right, Carrie?
Saturday. It's
Okay. Not on Saturday.
Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday. Sorry, it's not good. Okay. So this is Tuesday. Okay. Go. It's Tuesday. This January 16th. Okay. And then council level will be having your award ceremony January up till, whenever before the school ends. Anything I have been forgotten about this? It's just a brief overall kind of calendar.
One thing to note is Texas PTA will continue to accept both physical and digital entries. So I do have, when you're submitting your form online with the student information, it'll have a link to my Google Drive account where you can just drop your entries right in there. It's a great way to get me the entries, especially if you already have a good quality digital copy of the artwork, because once it comes to state, we do judge digitally and so does national. So if you send me a physical piece, I'm still going to make it digital for judging. So if you already have something that the student has submitted that's very high quality, that's the best thing to provide me. And you just submit that along with the student entry form, and you can just you can put the student name and category right there in the file name. And then I'll get it all organized and ready for judging. And if you have any questions about making things digital or the best way to do things, then definitely reach out to me. Looks like we have a hand up, Jeanette.
Hey, Carrie, I just wanted to piggyback on that. I knew that you were judging digitally last year, but I still went ahead and sent original visual arts and photography entries. Are you saying that we probably don't need to do that, or?
Correct. I'm
okay.
if you send me a physical piece, I'm gonna scan it or take pictures of it if it doesn't fit on a scanner. Because then I'm doing digital judging myself.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I just put my information in the chat. Someone asked for my contact information. And you can email me or
Jessica.
phone me anytime. Yes, Jessica.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Thank you for all of this great information. So this is my first year as a Reflections Council Chair. Last year I was local. So I did not get to this part of the process. I stopped when I turned in my entries to our council chair, and this is great information. I was not aware of the digital entries, and I was just going to ask what she just asked right now. So even if it's visual arts, you would want us to either scan those entries or take a picture and send them to you digitally, right?
If you can, if you can,
Okay.
would need a high quality image. So try not to cut off any part of the image, make it
Okay.
clear so it's not fuzzy, because that's going to represent the artwork in judging.
Right.
And if you can't do that, that's fine. Just send me the physical piece and then I can work on it myself.
Gotcha. And then in relation, I don't know if you're going to go over this, but you know, when it relates to the entries that we are able to advance to Texas PTA, is it one entry per grade per category?
Yes, that is not changing.
Okay.
And that is also what we are allowed to send to national. So it's a little bit different from the local because you came from the local side. The local
Right.
was sending 20%.
20%.
Right.
I was just confused because on the rules it says for a total of 40. So that wasn't the math wasn't adding up, but I'm guessing that's for elementary, middle school, high school level.
Well, it's because there's
Oh, come
special
on.
artists as well. So
Right, but that still wouldn't add up to 40 or 36 or something.
there's 4 grade divisions. There's
Right.
primary, intermediate, middle school, high school. There's 2 in the elementary.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, so I was just thinking for elementary school. I thought, how am I going to, because that, but yes, so that was referring to all of the elementary, middle school, and high school. And yes, special artists are important. Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay,
And then 6 categories, and then you can send 1 special artist per arts category. So that's the other 6. So out of you, that's another difference between the local and the council. When you're doing special artists, because there's not enough of them, you at the council level, you combine all of the dance from special artists, all of the visual arts from special artists, no matter the age.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're submitting 1, you're able to advance 1 to me for dance, 1 film, 1 photography. So that's another big difference between the local and the council, how that is handled.
Okay, perfect.
And that's how you get the 40. But you're not able to, like if you don't have a special artist photography, you're not able to replace it with something else.
Right.
You have to stick with within the 1 per arts category.
So if all I have hypothetically is visual arts, that just means that I am going to only be able to advance 2 pieces.
Well, 5. So if you have visual arts for each grade division.
I only do primary. Yeah, I only do elementary PTA. So it's I guess I am council just for elementary school level.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. That's why I was confused. So
okay. Yes.
Yeah, I don't do middle school or high school. I just do elementary schools in McKinney.
So intermediate is 3rd through 5th, if I'm correct.
Correct. Yes, so it's kinder to 2nd grade as primary, and then intermediate is 3rd grade to 5th grade.
Correct. And if you do have, sometimes the intermediate schools include 6th grade, those are middle school in the Reflections program.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, I just want to piggyback on that. Maybe since you are the council reflections chair now, maybe you can encourage the middle school to have the reflections program, because those who have experiences experience the reflections program at the the elementary school level, they might want to practice their, creativity throughout the middle school. So
I'm a new mom. My oldest is in third grade, so I still don't know. So I've been on PTA, but I don't know if at McKinney they have deep. I think it's PTO when we move on to middle school. I think that's what it
I
is.
see.
I think they're all
And,
PTO.
To let
Okay,
you know-
so I wanna, since you have mentioned about the PTO, I want to actually jump onto this one. Where is the So even the PTO can actually participate. The music that we listened to, the Sabrina Daly, when she was entering into the reflections program, she did homeschooling. So her PTA status was a Lone Star statewide PTA. So you can encourage those students and families that are who school are not the PTA, they can still participate. So it is our opportunity to reach out to and kind of include that there are as many students as possible.
And if
So
you
just
hear of
to share
anyone who
that.
wants to participate through the Lone Star statewide PTA, the best thing is for them to just email me or Texas PTA. What they have to do is they have to join Lone Star PTA. It's our statewide PTA, and we actually created that PTA just for this reason, to allow students to participate in the Reflections program.
Oh, okay, that's very interesting. So I've got a friend who has she's homeschooling her kiddo, and he's in first grade, so she could participate through Lone Star PTA.
Absolutely.
So she would need to join that PTA, and her little one can submit an entry.
Correct.
Oh,
They just have to join by the end of October.
Yes, ma'am. That's very
the only
interesting.
stipulation, yeah.
To
And
know.
then I can pass along deadlines, because what they do is they send the artwork to me. I coordinate the Lone Stars statewide reflections judging at the local level, and then it goes to the region, and then it goes to state and national.
Is there a reflections chair for Lone Star PTA? Oh,
Me.
you are. Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay. Perfect. And so she would be sending that entry, my friend, directly to you?
Correct. So
Okay.
once they join, I'll email them and I can get them into the fold and let them know deadlines and everything.
Okay, great. Perfect. Thank you. It's good to know.
So
And I think we have a
I think
yes.
Cassie had her hand up, and I think she just put in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
What if a local PTA doesn't want to host reflections, but a student at a school wants to participate? So if the school doesn't want to host the program or promote the program, that's fine, but they shouldn't turn away a student that would like to participate. So the least that they should do is at least forward that on to the council so that it can follow in the program, can move along and progress. If there are no other entries from the school or that category, then they don't have to hold a judging. They can just advance it on if there's just one. I think someone else is adding to it.
Jessica. Jessica has been waiting.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. That was from before. I apologize.
Oh, that was you. Okay. And Brenda?
Oh, Brenda, did
Brenda Chloe?
Oh, no.
Okay.
So Cassie, did I answer your question fully?
Yes, thank you.
One more thing. I'm so sorry. So you're saying that if there is one entry, it could automatically advance?
It can, yes. If it's within the rules, the guidelines, and everything looks good, then it can just go on to the next level so that it can progress. If it needs, if it doesn't, I'm sorry.
So advance to council or state or
Yeah, she was speaking about the local PTA, but the same rule would apply to a council. If you only have one special artist music entry,
get it
there's no
forward.
reason to hold it back if it fits within the guidelines and it's based on the theme. At least send it on so that it can progress in the program. The reason for this is Reflections is not a contest. It's built with a contest structure, but the whole point of it is to promote arts and education. And the more exposure and more progression the student gets within the program, then that's just going to reinforce the arts and education point of the program.
It will encourage it.
Enjoy it so much more, and then go for it more in future years. Look, maybe I can get to state next year. It just encourages more and more arts and education. So anytime we can just and reinforce that is wonderful. And treat the program as a program and not like a contest. And that's why we have the awards breakdown instead of its first, second, third, where you can only celebrate 3 people. We have it broken down like award of excellence, award of merit, honorable mention, so that we can recognize way more students than the first, second, third.
So I feel terrible because most of your entries are going to be, or at least from what I've experienced, visual arts. And last year I had just about 3 literature and then about 2 photograph entries in our elementary school. And I got those judged because on the website it says, do not advance an entry just because it's the only one that you have, you know, in other words. And the judge considered that it wasn't going to advance to council. And I mean, I only had, I think, 2 or 1 literature. So you're saying that in a situation like that, you recommend to move them forward?
If it's based on the theme and it fits within the guidelines, I don't see any reason to hold it back.
So you wouldn't even, so if we have, let's say, 1 photography, you wouldn't even see the need to get it judged. We should just move it forward to council.
If it's within the guidelines,
That will be up to the that will be up to the local chair.
It would be up to the local chair, yes. And keep in mind, judging is very, there's no one way to judge. Someone will look at something and see something, and total another person will look at it and see another layer of that same piece of artwork or literature piece, or hear something different in the music. It's very subjective. So
yeah, I'm sorry. I thought it was up to the judge. So this judge looked at the 2 photos, the entries, and she says, yes, it's good, but they're not, I don't think that they should advance. And I didn't advance them. And now I feel terrible, but okay, now I know.
Well, we can
doing
make it better.
Yes, okay. I will communicate that to the local chairs for sure, because that's what I thought last year as a local chair. I thought that it was up to the judge. We had about 60 visual arts, so we have plenty to choose from. But you know, the other categories, we don't get as many. So okay.
And also some judges can be very critical, like they are professionals in their field.
That's what I looked for. I looked up for a professional photographer, but I don't know if she was keeping in mind this is a kindergartner or first grader. So.
Right. And keep in mind that the highest criterion for our judging is the theme, creativity.
Right.
Yes.
So it's not mastery of the medium. That's the lowest criterion. So just keep that in mind, that it may not be the best. You can see brush strokes, it may not be the clearest photo, but it really hits home the theme. I mean, that's the important part, and that's what National is looking for as well. Brenda, did you have a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, I earlier you said about the judging. I was going to say, don't do what I did and submit everybody. That was a challenge, Carrie. And then everybody got that email saying that they all got award of excellence, and I was like, oh my Lord. So yeah, it was fun to fix, and I definitely been saying that I learned a lot from last year, so it was definitely a learning experience. And to mention about you know, you get a lot of visual arts. I love that the teachers want to promote it, but I do suggest to them not to make it a grade, not to make it an actual assignment. Have them do it, you know, over the weekend, take it home, because then you determine which students really want to submit their artwork or or whatever category they're working on. So I just wanted to say that that's what I mentioned, because then you'll be getting 60, 70 artworks, because, you know, or 1,300, depending on the school size.
Yeah, it is possible that if you make it as a school project, or the teacher make it as a class assignment, every single one is obliged to do it, because it now is tied to the grade instead of your inner creativity and recognition of by participating in it. So you know, it is great to encourage kids to have exercising their creativity. So at the council level, if you receive the question like that, you might, it all depend on the campus culture and, you know, council and district culture as well. So, but as Brenda said, if the local chair is not looking for hundreds of entries, then you ended up having the all grade level, I mean, not the all grade level, throughout the grade level, we'll put it in the reflections entry. So that would be a lot to go through at the local level. Okay, somebody else has had a hand up. Okay. Okay, Lydia, you mentioned it. I mean, all of those getting 60 plus entries, the biggest one I have ever seen in school was 15 entries, but usually less than 6. So right now, Lydia, I believe you are council chair now?
Yes, this is my first year as council. I've done it at local the last 4 years though.
Okay. So as the council chair, how can we encourage local chair to, you know, promote the program and encourage kids to participate in the reflections program? If anybody has ideas sharing, please do so. So that
Yeah,
Lydia...
I would love ideas because I just kind of stumbled into it a few years ago. Somebody asked me if I wanted to be on the board, and I said, what's one of the lowest commitment things I can do? And they said, try reflections. And I did, and I liked it. So I've just kind of stuck with it. But yeah, so we have like, I think 26 schools in our district for like K through 12. So we're not super small, but and yeah, I mean, like I sent out an email to all 26 schools and the presidents and everything. And I think I heard back from maybe 4. And from talking to the previous council reflections chairs, they're like, oh yeah, that's about expected. Out of our 26 schools, only about maybe a half a dozen participate. And so that's something I'd really like to figure out how to grow in our district. So I'd love to hear ideas.
Lydia, can I ask, do you feel like there's kind of a lack of understanding of what the program is? And is anybody else seeing that? Or is it some other barrier about time or capacity or something like that?
I think it's number one, not knowing really what the program is. And then the other thing that I kind of hear from some people, and I don't know if this is just for my area, but they're like, well, what do you get out of it? Like, I guess they don't really understand the point of participating. And that probably sounds wrong, but that is legitimate feedback I hear a lot.
We have Jeanette and also Balaji. With a hands up.
Yeah. Hi, Jeanette Sears, Spring Branch ISD Council Chair. And I just wanted to share some suggestions for kind of pulling in some other resources there for you. So at Spring Branch ISD, we have at the district level, we have like an arts coordinator that is in touch with all of the art student or the art teachers among all of the schools within the district. And I always use that as a touch base with that person every year to see if, you know, she would be willing to promote that to her art teachers throughout the district, and the same situation with music. And then also with special education. So that's just an idea for you to consider, is reaching out to any district level employees that would be able to help spread the word to those that they work with.
Wonderful.
And a lot of times, Jeanette, that you had, already established the foundation. So that is just so wonderful. But a lot of times that district leaders, they may not know what PTA does and what reflections program does. I'm going to move on to Balaji, but I just briefly wanted to share this with you. Texas PTA is preparing our website as well, but also, okay, let me, just two things that quickly I wanted to share before I pass it on to Balaji. But of course, I think it's great to see the Reflections Gallery, and just think about running this film or maybe slideshow as you have a PTA meeting, and so that the parents will be exposed to what it is, what you get out of it. You may not get out of it, but your children get out of a lot. By children getting out of a lot, you will get out of it as a parent, because you see them flourish into their creativity and exercising creativity, that's stimulating their brain, and they can do more, and they see the hope and purpose for their lives, So that's one thing. And then also, the National PTA has this Reflections Watch and Learn, what the Reflections program it is. It's a very basic video, but really brief and kind of shows all of the leaders that what it is. So it's already created. So we can just utilize what the National PTA offers. So, okay. We have Alexander and Balaji has hands up. Okay, Balaji, thank you for waiting. Go ahead.
Hey, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. This is a great conversation. This is the first time in PTIM in Art and Reflections. I had a lot of information here. The question I have here it is, I see your calendar. I saw it's very short notice, like it's going to be October. The expectation is it, I just have one suggestion. I think I just now heard about difference between local and council. What is the differences? If councils come to us, the school level, and say that, hey, this is what the calendar looks like, what is your thought process, and ask us the feedback, or at least they can meet us every quarter to understand what are the what can we do in an improved way, what other can we bring it to the table and the schools. That will help us out, so that we know what council thinking out and what's the national level PTA thinking out, so that it will be translated to the lower level, like me, the first timers who are interested to do something. So it helps also that we know what is the common vision about it, and we can march to it. So that if every quarter meetup, it helps us, and put some agenda. Hey, this is what the quarter looks like, and we want to do certain things. What is your thought process on it? And we can give some ideas. Like you said, someone said that a school doesn't want to participate in month of October, but they want to do it in December because they need some time. In that case, we can tell, hey, there's a couple of programs there, we can do it in December, and we can do that. So that way it helps out. So that it's a smaller step, but at least we are adhering to the common vision. That's the only thing I want to bring it out.
So Balaji, are you a local chair?
Yeah, I'm in a HES, Heritage Elementary School. PTA.
Okay. All right. So yeah, make sure that you contact your council chair. Which school district are you at?
GCISD.
GC what?
GCISD.
Okay.
GCISD. Yeah.
Okay. That's all right. Maybe your chair it's here. So you make sure that you contact. So so those who are the council chair, so your role is also kind of you are a PR person for Texas PTA and also National PTA Reflections Program. So make sure that you be in touch with local PTA and share with them. And first things actually right now that you would be needing to decide sharing that your deadline. When is the council deadline, and this is the theme that we are doing. This is how you can promote, share with them that there are some promotional ideas that we do, have already the set promotional material that you're already familiar with through the Texas PTA website. All those tools that you have used as a local PTA, local leaders, and also you have been doing it at the council level for a while, you are familiar with those promotional materials. So please do make sure that you share with the local chairs. We had Alexander. Yeah, you had a hands up. Thank you for waiting.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess you're talking to me.
Yes, yes, you had a hands up earlier.
Yeah, no, I was saying that one of the ways, or some of the ways that we have successfully promoted it is by displaying the participants' works at the individual schools after judging. And it's I mean, because there are some things that you can do that will immediately give you a boost in participation. But if you're trying to build a sustainable long-term program, by giving them that sort of recognition, making sure that the information's included in morning announcements. We did a lot of research to find out where could we get the showiest possible awards that we could possibly afford, and make sure to make an event of that presentation. Each year we've stepped up our council level awards reception, so that this year it involves stage and multimedia presentation of winners. And this creates an excitement that encourages people next year. It also helps to enlist the help of other adults that you would like to move into leadership positions. So when you need assistance with judges, or if you need a arts and education chair for next year, that visibility makes it that much simpler. And by creating a handy dandy step-by-step handbook that you can show them and say, look, this is how easy it is to do. Just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can get them in. And being genuinely enthusiastic about it will certainly encourage the local chairs. And the last thing I would say is, yes, people seem to immediately default to visual arts, but there are so many other categories. And I tell people all the time, it doesn't matter if you can't paint an apple. What matters is how well are you interpreting the theme and the way in which you've decided to participate, and how much thought are you putting into your artist statement. That's going to carry the greatest amount of weight, because a soulless piece that has nothing whatsoever to do with the theme should be at the very bottom of the pile.
Alexander, do you have items that you would be willing to share with the rest of the group? Because I think Midland Council was also looking for something, just like a presentation that someone already has created to go into the schools and share, rather than asking the teachers to explain it.
Well, we do it through teasers and morning announcements. So it's not because a one-time thing doesn't seem to do it, but it's kind of like, in fact, at the local level, presenting each category on a different day on a morning announcement, you're able to draw that out for a week. And it's sort of like our administrations have been very supportive of, this is Arts and Education Week. And so, Monday and we'll start with the categories that have the fewest number of participants, working our way up to visual arts on Friday. Because morning announcements take between 12 and 15 minutes. So, we can take 3 minutes to show a work, have the student there, and give them, you know, depending on where they placed, either a medal, or which they can wear around, you know, school that day, or we have one resource where we get the ribbons, and we don't use like little bookmark ribbons. These are horse show rosettes. I mean, it's this big and it's about 15 inches long. And you really feel like you won something, as opposed to it being sort of a 99-cent throwaway. Go ahead and cough up the $6 and get something that a child would be happy to have attached to their lampshade in their bedroom.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Alexander. So people are very curious, which school district are you at?
Allen ISD.
And you are the council chair?
For arts and education, yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's just awesome. I think I think that's why it is important that you really understand this, where this program stands. As Alexander mentioned, that really interpretation of the theme and their passion, willingness to participate. And we do need to promote and encourage every local chairs to see that opportunity, you know, create an opportunity for the children. And that is the most important part. I just wanted to piggyback on the morning announcement part. One thing that I tried to do was the interview with the past year recipient. So you get to have a child involved in the promotion. So you can talk with them, you know, how was it like and what did you like about, and just like Alexander says, within the 3 minutes of time, you can use the child's leadership as well. We have 2 hands up. Jessica, I think you are the first one, and then Amber. Thank you again, Alexander, for sharing that information.
Yeah, that was great. Last year I was at the local level, and I don't know if this would help, but we actually hosted 2 workshops, one summer workshop, and then a workshop the second week of October. So very, very simple, very little resources that you would need for those workshops. And I would say we collected about 80% of our entries during our workshops. And it was a really great way to reach out to the community. The summer one was not a drop-off only workshop. Parents had to be there because we did it right before school started. So it was a great way for the kiddos to like see each other before the school started, and it was a nice community event. And then the one in October, we did do it right after school. So it was, the kids just stayed, and we sent the registration forms 2 weeks before the event. So parents will let us know if the kids would stay after school and how they would be picked up and everything. All that we needed was some paper, cardstock, crayons, markers, and the kids were there for about an hour. They brainstormed on the theme, and then they finished their entry, completed their forms. And that was, and again, I'm McKinney PTA ISD right now for council, but I'm at local level. We were one of the schools with the highest amount of submissions. And I would say, again, about 70 to 80% of our entries, that's how we got them during those workshops. And we're planning on doing one at council level this year. So I'm coordinating with all of the local chairs to see if we can do something similar with all of the schools, at a park or something. And you can easily reach out to maybe some sponsors. I'm sure they'll be happy to be there, provide donuts or, waters, just to kind of promote their business as well. It's a good way for you kind of like work with your sponsorship chair and just kind of do like a little event together like that. But workshops are it's a great way for you to, get some entries as well. So that was just an idea.
Very good ideas. I liked the workshop.
Thank you so much. Amber.
Hi, I'm Amber Davidson. I'm from Midland Council PTA, and I'm here for our reflections chair who couldn't be with us. Last year, my daughter had to do it as a classroom assignment, and they took a grade on it. And so as I was helping her, I found, I think, a teacher or a PTA member in California who did like a little mini lesson. And so that was what I was kind of asking. Does anyone have your workshop idea? Jessica was a great one. And then Alexandra, I liked your ideas as well. I wrote those down. But I'm just wondering how we can take it off the plate of the teacher and make it more truly not a school assignment and help those kids really understand what they're supposed to do. So if anyone has any thoughts on that, I would love answers.
Well, what if, sorry, but what if as the reflection chair, we could maybe fill in that gap and maybe be the mini lesson provider or something to that effect, and maybe put together, I don't know, this is just thinking out loud, but put together a little, like, couple videos or ideas or links for each category, like a intro to like painting, or whatever resources you would want to like include. But I don't know, maybe that's an idea.
So yeah, actually, when I was a council chair, we did the online workshop for entire grade level. So every school, children throughout the district could attend. We didn't need any place to reserve or anything like that. We didn't have to provide, it didn't cost us anything. All the council chair that me and another team did was that to find some expert and ask them about an hour to show us that how to take a great picture. What would be the 3 points that they need to think about? So I did a workshop for 6 different categories. So the film, it was teaching us the lighting, editing, and the great apps that the children can use, and filters. So he showed us how the book writer, we worked with a local artist, and she talked about how she wrote the book and then how they can do the great piece. So you can utilize and work with the local community artists, and that's also spreading the PTA to the community as well. So as a council leader, I think we do need to look this program as a bigger perspective and help locals to, so that they wouldn't be burdened on thinking about themselves, thinking about just by themselves, and we can share the ideas. And I'm sure other council chairs have done some great things. So if you do have so, please share.
Absolutely, and I put my information in there. If you want to share any resources that you found with me, I can compile it into an email and send it back out to the group. Alexander, I think I saw your hand kind of raised briefly.
Yeah, I was going to say that with the window of time that's available, sometimes it's a little tricky, but in support of the individual campus chairs at the earliest PTA meetings, because there's certainly going to be at least 1, if not 2, before your deadline. If you indicate, because one of the other things that we like to do is try and get as many of the kids out of the meeting as possible to have it, otherwise there's way too much going on. But if the workshop that you're talking about is the adjunct or the entertainment at that meeting, that can certainly help, because in support of the local chair really pushing the importance of theme over, just the commercial quality of the work, you can, as you were saying, talk about how a work would be judged. And if you want to talk about, because we started an arts and education club that meets, and that's one of the things that we do. And not all the kids that are in the club enter reflections, but the information that they need to succeed is available there.
Absolutely. And we also, the resources that we have on our website, the promotional resources, we have the logos. You're welcome to utilize those logos. I think I got a phone call the other day, someone asking if they could utilize our logo to put on awards. And yes, absolutely. Oh, that was you, Alexander. Absolutely. You can utilize the PTA logos and our logos if you're using it for PTA purposes. You absolutely have the right to utilize those logos. All right, I think that we've answered most questions. But please email me if you need anything else. Email Risa. I'll add mine. Risa, if you want to add yours to the chat. And I will post this recording and email it back out to you guys. And if anyone sends any resources, then I will include those. But thank you all for sharing.
Before we jump off real quick, can I say too, that if any of you, in addition to sharing resources, if you have things that you would like to request of Texas PTA, if there's something that we can do to make it easier on y'all's job to recruit and promote, if there are, I don't know, graphics or information that we can share. I know it's my great hope and plan to share the speech and some of the presentations that were done at our annual conference from the outstanding interpretation recipients. Y'all, I can't even tell you, we have adults fully months later still talking about how impactful those kids compositions and their speeches and their presentations were. It's really, I think it's a powerful message to show how influential these kids' voices are and their creations are. So we're hoping to get that out for y'all to be able to share as well. But if you have any ideas for us, again, send them on to Carrie and she'll get with me and we'll do our best to help get them in your hands.
Absolutely.
Carrie, I just wanted to make sure that we, just the technical part of as a council leaders, that we have to be careful about when you collect the information. I mean, collect the entries at the council level. So make sure that you will check the individual student entries membership status. And if you're not sure about it, please do contact your local chair and local membership VP or president. And so this part will be done. It's already taken care of when the entries arrives at the Texas PTA. Another piece of that is that at the student grade division, please do make sure that it is checked correctly. The first part is the grade division part. Special artists, their grade division, both cannot be checked. So either the special artist division just alone, or the grade division. So we've got to make sure that with the local chair, which one they are entering into. Another part is the art category. So some art categories, such as pieces like this one, we see this, actually not really like this one, maybe this one here on the right side. Oh, you can't see. Sorry. Here we go. Okay. So the right side here is a lot of gluing onto that. And so if maybe this may not be a good example, but what we often see is the photographs here. This left side, it is the lots of different photographs being glued onto the paper. Even though if it is the photograph, it is actually not the photograph anymore when it comes to the entry level. So it would become the visual art, but the one seamless in images, that is the photography. So at the local level, they may make a mistake. So when it comes to the council level, you do make sure that it's into the right category. But in order to prevent that happens, you do need to communicate that part now so that local leaders will understand what they are looking for.
Yes, and when you're looking at the form, if you see anything like that doesn't make sense, go back and ask, like, is this supposed to be checked? Just use your intuition. Like, that doesn't look right. Let's check it out. Alexander.
And yeah, Alexander.
I had two questions that I had. One is with regard to copyright, and two is I don't know if you call it coaching or whatever you'd call it. But if somebody has if they submit something and their artist statement is terrible, is it okay if you go back to them and say, you didn't understand what artist statement means, you need to fix this? Is that okay?
That's the beauty of Reflections being a program and not a contest.
Okay.
You
And
can go
then
back
from a
and
copyright standpoint, somebody was asking me about, creating and this is what spurred at this photographic collage, creating a collage, not of photographs that they took, but that they had taken from other sources, internet, magazines, whatever. And it's almost one of those things where I don't know what it is until I see it. But when it stops being what it was before and then becomes the new thing, I wasn't able to provide them any clear guidance on where that line happens. Do y'all have a way of explaining that to somebody?
So the copyright, and it's listed on, I think, majority of the guidelines, but it pretty much says that as long as that they're just not right out. Let me read it. Use of copyrighted material, including any copyrighted cartoon characters or likeness thereof, is not acceptable in any visual arts submission, with the following exceptions. Visual art may include public places, well-known products, trademarks, or certain other copyrighted material, as long as the copyrighted material is incidental to the subject matter of the piece and or is a smaller element of the whole. The resulting work cannot try to establish an association between the student and the trademark business material or influence the non-purchase of the trademarked good. And collages may include portions of existing copyrighted works, such as photographs, magazine clippings, internet images, type cut out of newspaper, as long as those portions of copyrighted works are used to create a completely new and different work of art.
So if they took like a picture of Snoopy and then there's a balloon over the top of his head with pictures of things that make them feel hopeful, is that okay or is that not okay, since Snoopy is sort of in his entirety? That's where I was having a hard time, is in that sort of a circumstance.
That's a gray area because they are taking a copyrighted cartoon, but then they're adding to it.
Yeah.
So you're going to have judges, they're going to see it one way, and judges that are going to see it a total different. That's where judging is subjective, and you provide them with these guidelines and they have to interpret the guidelines and then interpret the art. So,
but would I then, because if I looked at that and I imagine, okay, if I made a t-shirt with Snoopy on it and it said, I love Bob's Fried Chicken, Charles Schulz Estate is probably going to come for me because they would say that's absolutely copyright infringement. So that's why I'm wondering, the only thing I could think of is, would the owner have reasonable cause to sue you if you used it? And I don't know if that's the right kind of metrics, or should I just go ahead and send it on to state and let y'all worry about it?
I think that like Carrie's been talking about, that this program is to celebrate the student creativity, and they did that. And then maybe because of the love for Snoopy, that kind of encouraged them to participate. So we don't want to stop and then be too critical or too technical about the pieces, I think at the local level, I wouldn't worry about too much. And then we'll just move it on to the council, and then council judges likes it, bring it to state. And then if state judges likes it, we will send it to the national.
Well, I
That's
I
what I
try to
would look
stay
at.
out of trouble as best I can.
Of course, yes, of course, yeah. But we're not gonna make a T-shirt to sell it to Texas PTA.
Right.
I think Carrie Alexander also had a question regarding the copyright. Carrie, if you wanna pitch into the remix
Oh,
or
Yeah,
go
no,
ahead.
I don't have a question. I just, I'm a former teacher and I work in literacy. I just think, if the Snoopy example, for example, were to go through, something else would probably take its place and move forward, right? Because someone else might have put in a little more work. And so in many ways, I think we can let the process take the work for us. But I love this conversation. I think it's really fascinating. That's all.
Thank you. And Jeanette.
Hi there. My question's quick. I was just wondering and curious. We have the national PTA logo, which is the maroon kind of half face. But I'm noticing the disconnect between what we're using for the promos that are available to us from Texas PTA, and I'm not seeing that logo on there. And I'm wondering if there were some questions as to kind of like when someone saw the national logo, why we weren't using that at a district or school level.
So for many years now, we've started creating our own logo. National wasn't creating any themed logo, and we wanted to incorporate the theme. And so at some point they started creating a themed logo as well. So now we both create themed logos.
Okay. It's complicated. Got it. Okay. Got it.
So as a council chair, we really need to communicate clearly to the local chairs. If you are using the national, promotional videos or national PTA's logos at the local level, not the local chair, maybe the participant, their family going into the national information. And Texas PTA, we align, but there are certain things that is a little bit different. For example, the major thing different is that national level is accepting the 3D sculptures, but we do not. So at the local level, if that would happen, we're going to hurt the feeling of family. So we make sure as a council chair, do use the Texas PTA guidelines, which is available online. Jessica, did you have another input?
Oh, you're muted. Jessica, you're muted.
Sorry. Okay, real quick. I'm on 2 meetings at the same time, but I have some time. I did have a question. And also a suggestion. So now as a council chair, what I think is very important is to be able to effectively reach out to your local chairs. And I've learned that email is not the best, it's not necessarily the best way to do it. I think I've sent about maybe 10 emails so far, and maybe I've gotten 2 or 3 answers or emails back. So what I did is you can use any of the applications out there for communications. I'm using GroupMe, and I've gotten much better response from GroupMe, and it's pretty cool because you can have different topics, and you can have schedules for meetings and just discuss different ideas. So we have a topic for like judges, another topic for our community workshop that we plan on hopefully having. So that's just another idea, another way to communicate with the chairs. It's maybe not just email, but maybe send an invitation for one of these communication apps. And GroupMe seems to have worked for me so far. So those just came to mind. And also in regards to how many entries so with me is a little different because I just asked our council president who is working with middle schools and high schools, because as far as I'm aware, I'm just doing elementary schools in McKinney. And so she's still to respond. I'm not sure if it's because it's a PTO or what it is, but so for me, let's say all I get is 20 visual arts from all the different schools. I could only advance, and I know that I've asked this before, but what if we're not getting any submissions for, at least for McKinney, for middle school or high school? It doesn't matter. I can only advance one per category per grade. That is it.
Correct. They're not interchangeable.
Okay, okay. That was it.
All right. Any other
Anybody
last
else?
thoughts before we wrap up? I know we've gone over, y'all, you guys had so much to share. It's great.
So this year at the national state level call, they also said that if anybody wants to take a film using drone, that's also perfectly fine. You know, there are so many technologies that the kids can use right now. So,
Yep, as
but
long
then
as the student they're driving it, as long as they're manipulating the camera, they're being the
director.
Yeah, they're the creator.
Yeah. So, yeah, I always remind everybody, voice is the greatest instrument that we carry all the time. So we have to tune it every day, but you know, kids can use that. So please do remind local chairs that's included.
And if they're in middle school and high school, then they have to add a score. It can be the lyrics for the song. Or if they have some software that they can sing it in and then it spits out the even better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of times that we do look for, you know, at the local level, I think we are so used to music being a certain kind of music, but there are many different kinds of music, you know, hip hop, rap, that's also music as well. So, and that's again, bringing a variety of perspective all included. Yes, Jessica.
I'm sorry. For music composition, it could be instrumental, it could be vocal, but for what I understand, the music doesn't have to, let's say it's a song that somebody's singing, but it doesn't necessarily needs to be sung by the composer. Somebody else could be singing, as long as the participant is the one that wrote the song.
Yes.
So we need to submit the written piece as well as the video or the audio of somebody singing.
For middle school and high school, it's required to include a score, but if you're just doing the elementary levels, that's not required.
What is required for elementary level?
The music piece, the recording of the piece.
Just the recording.
For the elementary levels.
Gotcha.
As they get higher, it's required that they include a written reflective statement or a score, the lyrics, something that explains the music itself.
And on the form, as far as the artist statement, what would that be? It's just how they think that relates to the theme or the actual words of the song.
The artist statement would be their statement on how they arrived at this musical piece, how they
Gotcha. Okay.
Explaining the piece.
Okay.
And how it ties back to the theme. Usually that's where you're going to find the theme. If it's not something with lyrics that really says the theme in it, like instrumental, you'll find the theme connection in the title and the artist statement.
Right. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Anything else?
Any last thoughts, Jeanette?
Yeah, I
And,
just
you
had
know,
one question, and I wasn't too sure of the answer to this. There was a local school last year that submitted 2 visual art pieces by the same student. And this was a new one for me. I accepted them at the district level, and that was correct. Is that right?
Yeah, there's no restriction on how many entries a student could submit in the same category or
In
all
this-
the categories.
Yes.
The only restriction is how many they can advance to the next level.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And also we don't restrict based on oh, what was the word used yesterday, Risa, and the band? If
Oh,
about subjects, like I know that someone got upset one time years ago that National chose a film that included students drinking and smoking, and it was all to raise awareness about something, but the parents were upset that National gave that an award because they saw it as reinforcing it, but that's not what the student intended. But we don't restrict their creativity in any way.
yeah.
This is where an open place for them to just create, and sometimes it's tough. It's tough subjects. You'll see sometimes abuse come out. You'll see someone coming out to the world. You'll see so many different ways that they're expressing themselves, and we don't want to stifle that anyway. So we don't restrict. Does that make sense? Does anyone have any questions about that? I don't know if I explained it correctly.
No, no, it makes sense to me, and I want to compliment the Reflections program, because I noticed the change on the entry form this year was not just male, female, it's now male, female, NA. So very D&I focused, so compliments there.
Thank you.
Okay. Once again, I just wanted to go back to the creator of the music and also dance choreography as well. So the dance choreography. So please do communicate with the local chairs that they don't have to be a dancer. They can choreograph it and then have somebody else's dances as well.
Or a team.
Yeah.
Or a whole orchestra, a band.
Yeah.
You can have fun with it.
I think we had an entry, she choreographed and mom and dad participating in the dance.
Yeah.
And that was awesome.
Got the whole family involved. It was great.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're about 30 minutes over.
Yeah. So, yeah. Thank you so much for
Sorry.
hanging out with us. And once again,
Yes.
do check out our Reflections website. And then also, Lauren shared the Instagram as well. So we'll have many different entries. So you can see different.
Absolutely.
items.
Share everything. All right.
So if there's anything
And I'll
else,
share
please do
this.
reach out.
I'll share this recording with everyone.
Great.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so
Thanks
much
for
for being
sharing.
here.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
You as well. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks again.